Hello, this is Dr. Goodin. Um, Welcome to Driven to Doctorate. So, before we get started, I want to ask you again to pause, go down to the description and take the pre-video feedback survey. At the end of the video, please take the post-video feedback survey. Today we're talking about how to describe the participants being recruited. How will they be recruited? Will it be email lists from professional organizations, flyers or posts? They can be paper, they can be digital, and or the data will be obtained in some way, maybe an archive of some sort or public records. You need to provide sufficient details so that the study can be replicated. So this is a lot like what you just did, but with providing more details. So I provided a quantitative example. A recruitment post with the embedded online survey will be posted on all personal social media, on the researcher's personal social media, as well as 3 Facebook groups with the moderator's permission. The posts will be repeated every 2 weeks until the minimum sample size is reached, or 2 months. So that's sort of the plan that we discussed with a bit more detail perhaps than in the prior in the sampling guidelines section, making sure that you have enough of a sample size. So you may have already covered this in the sampling guidelines section. The qualitative example is pretty similar, and I did that on purpose. A recruitment post where you share the inclusion criteria and maybe contact information. So inclusion criteria and contact information of the researcher will be posted on all personal social media and 3 Facebook groups with the moderator's permission. Again, the post will be repeated every 2 weeks, not until minimum sample size, but the qualitative equivalent reaching saturation. And it's argued that typically only the researcher can know when he or she or they have reached saturation. You might also say or 2 months, but you really need to reach saturation. And you might reach saturation much sooner than you had planned. Maybe you had planned on 15 interviews, but you reached saturation at 10. It could be argued that it would be unethical for you to continue researching, using people's time and energy and effort, including your own, to when you've already reached saturation. I would probably speak to my chair about going a little beyond saturation, maybe 1 interview or 2 interviews more, just to make sure. But after that, you'll want to stop. So let's look back. Did we describe how the participants will be recruited? In this case, we did use a type of flyering for social media, no archive data. So we've made it pretty clear in ways that these could be repeated. We're not going to call out the Facebook groups typically, because I like to mask my data, even if it's anonymous, or even if I use pseudonyms or alphanumeric codes. I want to protect, if I name the Facebook group and it's, say, an interview quote, perhaps somebody might get identified, and I want to always avoid that. So next, we will be looking at materials and or instrumentation. I look forward to seeing you there. Please go down to the description and take the post-video feedback survey. Thank you very much.